Hi, you guys. Welcome to a special episode of Kicking The Real, courtesy of theantidote.com. Right here, right now, we have an opportunity to witness and make history. I am joined by the beautiful Miss Eboni Johnson Rose of Baton Rouge. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I am doing well. I'm excited to be able to lay out everything that you have going on with this campaign, everything that you plan on doing for the seat and the community here in Baton Rouge. Let's kind of jump into some of your background, Miss Eboni.
Okay.
Tell everybody a little bit about your educational background and how you got into the political scene.
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Eboni Johnson Rose. I am originally from Houma, Louisiana. I'm a good old country girl, raised down in the bayou. Actually, my family, the Johnsons, have been in the Baton Rouge community since forever. So my dad and my mom actually met at the Southern University.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You.
And so what made me enter into running for office right now, really, I see that the state of Louisiana, especially here in Baton Rouge, we just incarcerate too many African American men. And I wanted to do something about that. So I'm offering up myself up for service to become judge.
That is awesome. And here, there are not many women in judge, let alone black women.
Yes.
We have an opportunity to make history here by electing you to do some of the beautiful things that you're setting out to do here in the community. Not only helping the incarceration rates, but there are some other things that you plan on doing with an active plan during this election.
Yes. So for all of you who may not know, who have never heard of me, who have never seen my platform, let me let you know something, what I plan on doing if I'm elected to this bench. First of all, my first goal is to make sure that every young person that comes before me, if they do not have not a college degree, let me take that back. If they don't have a high school diploma or a GED equivalent, and if they have committed a nonviolent offense, their sentence will actually be to obtain their GED equivalent, because I want everybody to be educated. That's one of the problems with our system that I see. We send too many young black men to prison rather than educating them so that they can have a quality of life, be productive members of society, and be able to provide for their families.
That is beautiful, and I think that it's extremely important because that's going to help stop with some of the generational stagnant that we see.
Yes.
Now, not only are we looking to help in that aspect, what are some of the other things that you want to do if you're elected to this bench?
Well, one of the things that I've seen in my practice and throughout this state is that there are a lot of people that suffer from mental illness.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so one of the things that I want to do if I'm elected is create a mental health court. One of my father's platforms when he ran was to create a veterans court. And so one of the platforms that he had, they actually implemented that. So they were able to obtain a grant to get the veterans court. So one of the things that I want to do is create a mental health court, because so many people suffer from mental illness. And one of the things that we can do is to allow them to go into a treatment plan for their mental illness instead of being incarcerated.
It's wonderful. It's going to help really hedge down a lot of those incarceration numbers where a lot of times that space can be used for real criminals.
Correct. And trust me, there are a lot of criminals. But one of the things that we have to stop doing in this parish is making more beds for nonviolent offenders. One of the things that we see in parish prison, we actually have more people that are detainees, meaning they have never been sentenced. They're just there because they could not post bond. And so they're sitting there, and the district attorney hasn't even billed them with the crime yet. You wouldn't even believe the number of our people that are really right now sitting in parish prison, and they haven't even been charged with the crime.
Simply because financially they can't afford.
That is correct. And so that's one of the things that I'm also going to be trying to reform is alternative ways for people to be able to post bond. So oftentimes you see that people can't post bond because of their financial situation.
Correct.
So we need to give them an alternative, whether it's community service, whether we're allowing them to pay so much, and then we really need to assess whether the bond should be set at all, or whether we should just allow them to be signed out on their own recognizance because of the nature of the crime.
Absolutely, and I think that'd be brilliant in slowing down the way that the court system backs up.
Yes.
With having to deal with some of those offenses. Now, Ms. Johnson, you have a beautiful platform. You actually have a plan in comparison to some of your running mates that may not. You guys make sure that you're up and looking into the other candidates as well. We want you guys to vote for the best candidate in this election.
Yes.
But I want you to kind of talk about the importance of the younger generation right now and what it is that you want to do to help touch them as well.
So, young people, I have 4 children. One from a previous relationship that I had, my oldest son, Antonio, who's 27. I have a set of twins that are my husband's children, and they're also 27. And then we have our youngest boy, Jay, who's 21 years old. So trust me when I say I can identify and I can relate to what you all are experiencing. And I think it's very important that you all engage in the political process. I saw you all demonstrating and protesting because you were upset at where we are as a society. Absolutely. And I understand that and I get it. And I want you to know that your voice can also be heard at the polls. It may not seem to you that your vote is going to matter, but when I tell you that it does, and it really matters at the local level. It matters who you elect as district attorney, because the district attorney has the right to bill you with a crime. They have the right to actually charge a police officer if that police officer has done something wrong. And so it is so important. You want a judge that's going to be able to identify with you, that looks like you, that knew where you grew up, that know what's going on in your neighborhood, somebody that can identify with you. And I'm that person. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And moving not only in the aspect of police reform right now and police brutality, what are some of the things that you're looking to institute in that regard, if anything?
So one of the things that I plan on doing, I know Chief Murphy paused, so hopefully we can engage in some dialogue where police and the judiciary are actually going into the schools, because I think it needs to start young. So that they can actually touch us and see us and know that we're not the bad guys.
Right.
And go into the schools and talk to the kids and really get into a conversation. Why are you in my neighborhood? Especially when it comes to police. I think that if we had more community policing,
absolutely,
instead of the over policing of our communities, I think our children, especially our young people, wouldn't fear the police so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, with the younger generation, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful idealism that you're able to actually harness in and know that they need the attention to make sure that the coming generations continue to grow as well. Now, we want to kind of look at the dynamic of the Black woman here in the judicial system. What are some of the things that you see where Black women are concerned in the court system, and what are some of the things that you're working to change?
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, especially with our Black women, is way too much theft going on. And I understand that people steal for many different reasons, but I want to say to you all that's out there listening that there's always a different way. And one of the things that I plan on doing if I'm elected, I'm going to actually ask questions. I'm going to ask you, if you come before me as a woman, I'm going to ask you why you committed this crime, because I want to actually get to the root of why we're committing crimes, because people do different things for many different reasons. We have a lot of we come from this place, especially as Black women, that we want to look a certain way, you know? And so we get into this, oh, well, then I have to go and take something that I really can't afford. And I want to change that, women, because we're beautiful, all of us, regardless of if we wear Louis Vuitton. Right.
Walmart.
Okay. Or if we wear in Walmart, it's just how you going to dress. But on a more serious note, we do have a problem with domestic violence.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of women that are suffering right now. And even though you wouldn't necessarily come to my court, what I've seen over time, women are in a situation where they actually have taken the life of somebody because they were in a bad situation. They were being abused. And so I am not going to send a woman to prison
for defending
herself. And I want you all to know that I will be working with the domestic, violence unit to make sure that our women are receiving the resources that they need.
I'm so happy that your mindset is there. And when we talk about resources, it's so many other resources that you have a hand in that you really want to be able to pour back into the community from that seat. What are some of those things that we'd like to talk about here?
And so one of the things that I really am passionate about is making sure that people know who God is. And I know that that's funny, and that might be funny to some of y'all, but God is the foundation of my life, and I want to make sure that he's the foundation of everybody's life. So one of the things that I want to do, regardless of whatever your sentence is in my court, just know that you're going to have to go spend some time in the church. Because I want you all to know that there is a higher power and that he does control our lives. One of the other things that I'm so passionate about is education. Yes. And so every child that is in my family, they can tell you that I have registered them for high school, for college, you know, and so I'm very, I feel strongly about education. So one of the things that I want you all to know, if you come into my court and you have not graduated, you will graduate. I promise you that. And not just that, I want to give you the tools that you need. So one of the things that I also want to do is partner with the Baton Rouge Community College and the Technical College so that you can actually get a trade, have a skill, be able to contribute to society instead of taking away from society.
I think that's so awesome to be able to use your platform and the intention to use your seat to really pour back into the community, to build us and grow us in a financial sense, in a spiritual sense, in an overall economical sense. And I think it's imperative to see what's going to happen with these next generations.
Yes. And I think if we give you all the tools that you need, we can dismantle this pipeline to prison. That's not just a saying, people. I actually believe that we have a pipeline to prison, and I am the person that's trying to disrupt that. I want to give you the tools, the resources that you need so that you can be a productive person of society.
Miss Eboni Johnson Rose, getting into the political aspects, I know that there was some things that took place early on in your life outside of your family just being big in politics. What kind of really initiated that fire and passion to fight back and use your voice?
Well, to some of you guys, this is going to sound crazy, but as a young person, it meant a great deal to me. So I was a senior in high school. I was 17 years old, and we had 2 skip out days. You know, you guys may not do that these days, but back in the 90s, growing up
so long ago,
growing up in Houma, we had a black skip out day and a white skip out day. So all of the white seniors skipped out on a different day than what the black kids did. So we skipped out on a Friday. You know, we went to the park and hung out, but we got back to school on that Monday, and we realized that the prom court selection had been voted on when we were not in school. And so we went to the principal. We asked them to go ahead and hold elections again to give us the opportunity to vote, you know, to be fair. And they told us no. So my best friend and I went to her grandma's house, and we decided that we was going to protest. So because, you know, I'm this history buff, I was like, well, I know with our First Amendment rights, so we have the right to peacefully assemble, right? Which y'all was just doing when y'all was protesting in the streets.
Amen.
And so we actually did. We held a protest for 3 days.
Nice.
And I went and got all of my classmates and everybody that was willing to. We went outside and we walked and protested for 3 days. The superintendent called my house, told me to report to the superintendent's office. So we did. We actually went over there. We marched over there singing songs. And I know that sound corny, but you know, we was reliving our Dr. King days. And so I spoke. What happened from that incident was they allowed any future votes that everybody had to be included. They didn't change our vote. I was a little salty about it, but what that taught me was that I had a voice and that I can affect change.
That's awesome.
I could affect change. And so I'm telling you, young people, you can affect change when you mobilize yourselves.
You guys, I'm telling you, this is it. Like the energy, the historical experience, like this is it. And speaking of historical experiences, again, we have an opportunity right now to make history. Not only would you be one of the first female African Americans to take this seat, but also historically speaking, your father and your uncle being twin brothers, Mr. Ron and Don Johnson.
Yes.
That would be a triad of a family.
Yes.
Taking this seat for the first time in history.
Yes.
How does that feel to know that you're this close to obtaining that?
To be honest with you guys, that is not why I'm doing this, but to make history, to be a part of history is going to mean a lot to me and my family. Awesome. I know that my grandmother, you know, when I do get elected, she's going to be smiling down from heaven.
Amen. It's such a beautiful thing to know that the generations of political power, the good versus evil aspect has been in your family, has been harnessed into your person. It's beautiful to see that come out of you. Again, we wish you nothing but success as you take this seat. We're speaking it to existence, okay?
Yes. Speak those things that are not as though they are.
I know that's right. We need you on this bench, Miss Johnson Rose. I'm excited, Miss Eboni. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. I don't know if you need to rewind to go back to the beginning of this interview. Miss Johnson is spending, Miss Eboni Johnson Rose is spending time right now breaking down all of the problems in our community and letting you know that she wants to fight for you.
Yes.
This is just because she loves us that much.
Yes.
Now, elections are coming up.
Yes.
I know you're excited. I know that you're nervous.
Yes.
What is it that you're looking to obtain from everything?
Well, early voting, people just ended, so I hope you all went out and
there.
early voted. And if not, you know, the election is on July the 11th. That is next Saturday, people. So the polls are going to open at 7 o'clock. They're going to close at 8. And I just want you to know that your voice does matter, and it matters at the polls. If you need any information, if you need a ride to the polls, I need you to call me 225-266-4500. Call that number. If you want to know more about me, if you want to know more about my platform, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have a website, and they're all the same. Eboni Rose, the number 4 Judge. You can reach me on any of my platforms.
You guys, Miss Eboni Johnson Rose for District Court here in Baton Rouge. Get out on July 11th. Make sure that you vote. We're making history right now.
Yes.
We have an opportunity to put the first black woman in this seat. We have the option to do that. Make sure you go and vote, you guys. Is there anyone you want to show love, shout out? Or
shout out to my husband, Jonathan Rose, owner of D-Cell Funeral Home. He's always trying to do good in this community, and I just thank him so much for his love and support. It's always good to have a support of a spouse.
I know that's right. We love black love, you guys. You have tuned in to an exclusive episode of Kickin The Real, courtesy of theantidote.com. We appreciate you so much for taking the time to come and sit down and talk with us. We know that you have a lot going on, and that platform of yours is skyrocketing. Yes. We wish you nothing but the best. We can't wait to see you take that seat after the 11th. You guys get out, go vote. Need a ride? Call that number. It's your girl, Tubbi, and we're signing out.
Thank you.